What's up, everybody? It's Steve with I Live Plants, and thank you once again for tuning into this channel, coming in here to listen to what little old me has to say about plants, right? Like I said, I don't know it all, but I invite you guys to come along on this journey, on this ride, my plant journey, as I grow, as I learn and figure some things out, do some research, and get some more knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So listen, this video is about space, you guys. We have limited amounts of space in our homes for our plant babies. So what do? Like, I'm not talking about how to design yet, okay? We'll get there. But let's talk about some plants that you can put into a small space. Like, here is my Aglaonema Chinese ruby. This is, you guys know, this is Queen Ramona right here. And Queen Ramona is getting big. She needs to be watered too, apparently. But look how big she's getting. You see this? She is getting huge, okay? And this is quite abnormal for an Aglanema to be growing the way that she does. I ain't mad at her. I don't even want her to get pissed off. Now you keep on doing your thing, okay? You keep on growing and showing out. Isn't she showing out? Anyway, look, you guys, this video is about plants that just don't grow this big. Okay, so you can put it in small, tight spaces. If you have an apartment or an office, these plants would be perfect to sit on your desk or to put it in a little small corner or on a counter or something like that. Okay, so that's what this is all about. And these are my 5 plants that I have that can fit in tight areas. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, so the first plant that I'm going to talk to you today about is this jewel crown. This is a Sansevieria jewel crown. And I love this plant because it doesn't get that big. Okay, I needed something to go on this shelving unit that I have at the house. And this was sort of like when I saw this at Peter's Planters, I was like, yeah, that'll do it. This is the deal. It doesn't get that big. This probably, when it reaches maturity, gets to be about 2 feet. So we're talking about maybe about this high or so, and about 1 foot wide. So it'll still be able to sit on the shelving unit that I have, maybe on the top shelf, but it'll be able to fit there. The deal with this plant and why I was attracted to it is, number one, it's a Sansevieria, so it doesn't require that much water. As a matter of fact, it does have a sweet spot, okay? So it can tolerate drought, but depending on how, if it remains underwater like too much, you can stunt the growth of this. So it's not going to grow as big. So again, these are, when we're talking about growth patterns and all that stuff, we're talking about ideal conditions. Some of us don't have ideal conditions in our houses, right? We lack humidity, we lack sunlight, or natural light. And so any one of those factors, I mean, come on, sometimes we water, sometimes we don't, sometimes it depends on the mood that we're in. That's not how it works in nature, okay? So ideal growth conditions out there, not in here. So the deal with this plant is if you don't water this in this sweet spot, you can stunt the growth. Another way to stunt the growth is if it's too humid. I mean, when you think about this plant here, this Sansevieria, most Sansevierias thrive in like dry Mediterranean climates, right? So if you think of Africa or something like that, that type of climate is where they thrive. Very little water, lots of light, and very dry conditions. So I don't worry about this plant too much. I water this plant probably, I want to say maybe every 8 weeks or so, every 2 months. And the soil has to be like bone dry. I mean, like literally damn near dust, in order for me to even remind myself to give it a drink of water. And then another thing that I did notice the last time and why I gave it a little bit of a drink is that I did get some brown tips, and I know that that's not from water overwatering. I know that's probably from underwatering, so I did give it a little bit of a drink. But again, this is a chunky mix. The water goes right through. I'm not trying to oversaturate the roots or anything like that. So this plant is pretty ideal for someone who, number one, doesn't have the time to think about it too much, and also wants something small enough that's not going to grow to the regular snake plant zelenica size, right? Those long leaves. You don't want that, right? You want something that's going to stay compact. This is your plant right here. Okay, you all, so I have here two Sansevieria Jade Jade Marginatas here. All right, I love these plants. This is smoke and stack, or this is smoke and stack. It just depends on which one I call out first, pretty much. All right, but if you watch the movie Sinners, you understand the inspiration for smoke and stack. Anyway, so again, these are dwarf jade marginatas, you guys. These are not going to get that big. As a matter of fact, I want to say that these plants can grow up to 8 inches to 12 inches tall. So we're talking about a foot or so, and they can get about maybe 8 inches to 12 inches wide in diameter. Again, another Sansevieria, another plant that can thrive off of neglect. As a matter of fact, I neglected this plant so much, smoke or stack, whichever one, maybe that's how I can tell the difference. Stack has a pup, okay? This little pup right here. Okay, I'll give you a little close up. This wasn't here about 2 or 3 months ago. I'm actually happy I just saw that, as a matter of fact. So they are no maintenance, low maintenance, okay, very low maintenance. Again, indirect sunlight doesn't need that much. I almost want to say, you know, they're about maybe a foot. They're about maybe 12 feet away from my window, and they get, you know, light here and there, right? It's an east facing window. But again, I'm not stressed out about it. I'm not stressed out about watering this plant either. I want to say I water this plant every 6 to 8 weeks, if that. If I remember, yeah, it's going to get a drink. If I say, oh, I haven't watered smoke and stack for a while, I'm going to give them a drink. But I'm not watering them every single week like I am some of my other plants here. And again, they don't get that tall, you guys. These are dwarfs. Okay, so if you saw Lord of the Rings, you know dwarfs typically are small. Okay, so they're not going to grow that high. And again, this is on a shelving unit that I have here in the house, and I just think that it looks great. It also adds a pop of color with this variegation that it has on the leaf, with this lime green variegation that it has on the edges of the leaf. So aesthetically, it's going to be pleasing to your collection. And in terms of humidity, same rules apply with just about all Sansevierias. They don't need that much humidity. So if you have ambient conditions in your house and your humidity levels are about 30 to 40%, don't stress. You don't need to buy a humidifier. These plants are going to do just fine. Okay, so I got these actually from Energy Gardens here in Deep Ellum in Dallas, Texas, and it's just amazing. That's an amazing shop. Just trust me, you just got to go and check it out for yourself. But shout out to Energy Gardens for, you know, blessing me with these two plants right here that are low maintenance and won't get that big. What do you think? All right, you guys, this is my Sansevieria Samurai Dwarf, my Dwarf Sansevieria Samurai, okay? This thing, I mean, this thing is mad cool. This looks like a starfish, like a green starfish that you might see washed up ashore on a beach or something. Now, this is the thing with this plant. This plant is probably not going to grow that much taller than this. As a matter of fact, it might get maybe a couple of inches taller, and I'm fine with that because running out of space here. All right, so the smaller the better at this point. If I could just tuck you in between two plants, so be it, right? That's where I'm at right now. But here's the thing. I got this because, number one, of the way it looked. Number two, the size of it. And also the fact that it's a Sansevieria, you guys. Like, I can forget this plant. I don't forget about this plant, but I forget about this plant because I don't have to water it or take care of it or worry about it too much. Again, with my other Sansevierias, maybe every 2 months, maybe, if I remember, every 2 months that it needs to drink. I also look at the tips, so these tips are not as brown as, let's say, my jewel crown, but it looks pretty good. I have a moisture meter. Again, with the moisture meter, all it's going to do is just tell you that you are, and my moisture meter reads 5% to say dry. Yeah, it's going to be 5% dry. Doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to have a drink when it's super duper dry. Keep it dry. Keep it consistently dry. Okay? My opinion, just water it every 2 months or so. Give it a little bit of a sip, and it's going to be fine. In terms of light, this Sansevieria is by my jewel crown, and oh no, it's not. As a matter of fact, this Sansevieria is in my plant room, but it's probably about maybe 8 feet away from the window. Okay, so it does get, a decent amount of daylight, of sunlight in the morning, but after that, it's fine. And again, like, I'm not worried about growth from this plant at all. I don't need this plant to get any bigger, okay? In terms of diameter, maybe just a little, maybe a couple of inches more for this one. So maybe about 8 inches in diameter, 8 inches in height. I mean, can you beat that? Can you, figure out where you can put this in your house? Like right there on the windowsill in the kitchen, or on your office desk in your desk in the office. Put it there. I mean, come on. Put some greenery, some nature up in there. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything big or extravagant. It could be something cute like this. All right, let's get into some plants, you all, because it actually brightens up the space. So what do you think? Is this something that you would want to add to your collection? This is a Dwarf Sansevieria Samurai. And what did I name this one? I don't remember the name. Oh, yeah, I do remember the name. This is Pai Mei, you guys. This is Pai Mei from Kill Bill. So if you're a Kill Bill fan and you know Pai Mei, if you know, you know. All right, this is my Sansevieria Samurai right here. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the Booby Cactus right here. Did I name this? All right, don't get offended. I think in my head I named this plant Tits. Okay, so here is Tits right here, and this is my Booby Cactus. Let me tell you about this plant. This is another plant that I ignore. This plant, again, is probably about 6 inches tall right now, and it actually grows. The general consensus about this plant is about 2 to 4 inches a year. Okay, so it can reach full maturity in about 3 to 5 years. So we're talking what, 5 times 2? So it'll probably get about maybe another foot or a foot and a half in terms of height here indoors. Now, if you place this plant outside, those are different conditions. It gets probably better sun, blah blah blah, and it's going to perform a little bit better. You'll probably see even better growth per year than you would indoors. But because this plant is inside, it's not going to grow that tall. All right. So this is another plant that indoors might get about 2 feet, maybe 4 feet tall. Right. But again, look at it. It's small. In terms of width, it'll probably get about maybe 6 inches wide at the base, maybe a little bit more, depending on the growing conditions. But again, it's still small enough to kind of put in a corner, if you know what I'm saying. But the only thing about that corner is that it has to have a lot of light, okay? Cacti thrive off of sunshine, you guys. The more direct the sun for most of these plants, the better, okay? But again, it still is a plant that could be neglected in terms of watering. As a matter of fact, just like my Sansevieria, but I would say even more so, this cacti probably Geez, I probably won't water this for maybe a few months, maybe 3 months, if not longer. I hate to say, because I've had this plant for about maybe 5 months now, 4 or 5 months. I think I might have watered it one time, and when I did water it, I was like on pins and needles, hoping that it didn't do anything weird because of the fact that it just thrives off of very, 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 and I can't stress this enough, very dry conditions, okay? But again, it grows really slow, you guys. So if you get one that's about this tall, yeah, you can put this on your desk, right? You can fit this on your desk, and you don't have to worry about having to give this plant away in 2 3 years because it actually grew out, it grew over the size that it needed to be in that space. So you can actually have this plant for a few years and it kind of looked the same. I mean, 2 inches is probably about that. So by this time next year, it'll probably be about this tall. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's a very different plant. I'm so glad I got it. It kind of changed the game up a little bit for me because this is my first cactus plant. This is my first cacti right here. And I actually like it. So what do y'all think? Is this a plant that you would add to your collection just based on aesthetics alone? I mean, how interesting is this? This looks like one of those fake Christmas trees that I used to draw as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what do y'all think about this plant? I love it. The name, don't sue me. Don't be offended. This is all in fun. Say hello to tits. All right, guys, and the last plant that I want to talk to you all today about, it's not a Sansevieria, okay? It's not a cacti. It's actually an Aglanema, okay? So my podcast co-host, Richie, is trying to popularize Aglanema, all right? Which means hashtag popularize Aglaonema. Get an Aglaonema in your life, you all. This is my Aglaonema Suksom right here, and this is a beauty. I actually had to replace one that I had bought from PlantCon actually a year ago, almost to the month. This that Aglaonema just did not. It didn't stand a chance, y'all. Like the roots were mushy. It was horrible. It was a slow death in terms of it just, it wasn't built to survive. It wasn't made. This one though, okay, I got this one from Peter's, I want to say about 5 months ago, and it is doing its thing. Now, look, I know you just saw Queen Ramona in the beginning. She's a different type of chick because Aglaonemas don't typically grow fast, okay? Not all of them. Most of them grow very, very slow, okay? Including this Suksom. I want to say I've only received one new leaf in 5 months with this plant. So again, not it's not a big deal, right? Aglaonema is another plant that could stand to go dry in terms of soil moisture, but give it a drink when it goes dry. You do not want your Aglaonema to go through a drought. It won't like it. It will hate you for it. I have a sparkling Sarah who tells me that every single week. You all, like, my sparkling Sarah does not look good right now. Sarah Jessica Parker is just not having it, and I'm not sure if that's because the reviews for and just like that aren't that great. I'm not just playing. No, don't get me into pop culture stuff. But my sparkling Sarah, I say all that, to say this, it's not doing that well because I'm not consistent with the watering with that, and I haven't figured it out. This plant is, I'm on top of it for some reason, but I am, maybe because it's newer. But it's a lot forgiving too, a lot more forgiving than my sparkling Sarah. And the leaves here are just stunning, you guys. I mean, we're talking about this rosy red leaf, you all, that's just amazing. And Again, this is a plant that needs light because you want to maintain that sort of rosy red leaf as opposed to it reverting back green, okay, if it doesn't get that much light, okay? But again, slow grower, okay? Moderate humidity. So again, this is in my plant room, so it's a lot more humid in the plant room than it is anywhere else in the house. And in terms of watering, you guys definitely, I water this plant maybe every 10 to 14 days. Maybe every 10 to 14 days. I don't give it a lot of water when I do. And so far, so good. So this Suksom looks like it's on the right path. What do you think about this one? And what do you think about the 5 plants that I showcased today? Are any of those on your list? I mean, we're not talking about, you know, rare plants. We're talking about plants that you can go to your local nursery and pick up for a decent amount. I mean, I don't think any one of these plants that I talked to you about was over 20 bucks, to be honest. Okay, I think they were like maybe $15 or something like that. So cost effective too, okay? Just to get a little bit of nature in your life, okay? Just to kind of like change up the space a little bit, right? All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. You all check this out. You know me, right? I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate you all for your beautiful comments that you leave. Keep those coming. Keep the subscribers coming. Tell your friends about me, and you know, if they have any thoughts about plants and thinking about getting on the journey, yeah, tell them to do so. It's not as hard as they think. They can do it. You know, look, if I can do it, they can do it. And you know how we do. At the end of the day, guys, we love ourselves. We uplift each other in this channel. We respect each other, and we just try to do our best on this rock of a planet to live the best life that we possibly can here. Okay? So, you guys, I love y'all for watching. You know I do. And I will see you all on the next video. Okay? Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon.